Welcome to High Heels and Hay Bales, where polished meets practical, legal meets lifestyle, and debt meets dirt.
I am Kristen, your resident farm mama, keeping it real about motherhood, homesteading, and laughing our way through the chaos.
And I'm Adrienne, aka the Ladylike Lawyer. I'm here to help you make sense of money, debt, legal life, without the boring fine print.
So kick off your shoes or boots or heels and let's get into it.
My gosh, Kristen, today I'm going to walk you through the wildest legal influencer meltdown that I've seen in a long time. And, I spend a lot of time on the social medias, my friend, and I see a lot of meltdowns, right? This story that I'm going to tell you today has childhood history. It's got adult friendships, marriage triangles, TikTok spirals, jury trials, verdicts. And what happens next? I don't know. Well, actually, I think I do. And I'm going to tell you all what I think happens at the end. But I'm here to tell you the story about Brenay Kennard and Akira Montagu.
Okay, I already feel my blood pressure creeping up. So I know nothing about any of this. What did these people do?
Love it. I am so excited that we're doing a podcast episode about something that you literally have no idea about. You haven't gone down this rabbit hole. You haven't watched my videos. And so you do not know about this amazing drama that's been unfolding on TikTok. By the end of this story, you're going to understand why I'm predicting a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. But my gosh, you got to come along for the ride because this one's going to be fun.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. Okay, so today's episode is about a woman named Brenay Kennard and another woman named Akira Montagu and how their friendship and betrayal led to a courtroom and so much drama on the internet that, I mean, my videos about it went viral. I've seen the stories on CNN. And it is so interesting. So let me tell you who these players are, okay? Kristen, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm
Are
ready.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you sure you're ready?
I don't know. Now wait, let me back this up just to make sure. This is mainly on TikTok. This isn't a
Yes.
Bravo thing.
This is not a Bravo thing. This is social media drama at ground level, okay?
Okay.
Good. Good. Let's establish that. So let's start with the three main characters in this story. We have Akira Montagu. She is married to Tim Montagu. And Akira and Tim are friends with a woman by the name of Brenay. Okay. All three of these people all grew up in the same school district, same buildings, same parking lot, but they were not all best friends.
Okay, so what was the actual dynamic?
Follow along because Tim and Brenay dated in high school. It was a very classic teenage romance. Tim and Brenay, okay? A little bit in middle school, dated a little bit in high school. They might have gone to prom together. I don't remember that. But it was a high school thing, right? Akira, she grew up in the same school, same hometown, same circles, but not really deeply connected to Tim or Brenay, all right? Not in the same circles, right?
Okay, so this small town overlapping thing, the ecosystem that is a small town.
Absolutely. That's where we come from, okay? This is really important. Brenay and Tim, of course, break up. It's a high school romance. They go on and live their lives. Akira meets Tim kind of as an adult, and they end up falling in love and getting married and having children, okay? So Tim dated Brenay back in high school, but he's an adult, married to Akira now. Akira and Tim have children. And at this point, Akira and they're building a family, but Akira and Brenay actually become friends, like real friends, kind of like you and I. They become friends.
Okay,
Okay.
so like super close friends.
Pretty, pretty close. They're
Okay.
close enough that they are filming together. You see, Brenay is a very popular TikToker. She had over 3 million followers. Akira was also a social media influencer, maybe not in the same category as Brenay, but definitely doing her own thing. And so they kind of come together as friends and they start, they're in the same hometown. They start making videos together, they start building, a system together, and they're helping each other. And they're getting pretty close because they're filming together, that kind of thing, right? But
Okay.
here's the twist. Brenay was also married And it turns out Brenay was married to Tim's cousin.
Okay, so that's a little messy. I've heard messier.
Oh, totally. You can start to see where the little slurps of messiness are starting to creep
Mhm.
their way in, right? So the internet was actually whispering at this point that Brenay had gotten married to Tim's cousin because Brenay still had a crush on Tim. This is what the internet was saying. And this is
Yeah.
like a marriage of convenience, right? Like a proximity marriage.
Mhm.
And so Brenay and her husband are out a lot with Akira and Tim. And then she starts like confiding in Akira. Oh, my husband's not treating me fair. Oh, my husband. Oh, we're having problems in the marital home. We're having problems. I think you know where this is going.
Yeah, I think I do. So
Yeah.
what happened next?
Well, so Akira offers to let Brenay come and move in with her briefly so that she can like get away from her husband. And, they were such good friends. And she says, come stay with us. Come get away from your spouse. Come stay on our couch. Right. Well,
Okay.
it's supposed to be the couch. She's supposed to come and stay on the couch for a little while. But Brenay starts to like integrate herself into Akira's home. All right. She starts and she's an influencer too. And so she's really starting to kick up little things that other people like in the TikTok universe are starting to pick up on, right?
Right.
It's
I can already feel the betrayal seeping in.
there's there's so much betrayal. So that's the emotional nucleus of this story. A wife took in a friend that she believed, needed some help getting back on her feet. And that friend came in and, spoil alert, totally detonated Akira's marriage. Okay. So, as you can probably imagine where this is going, I just want to make sure that you're following along here so you understand the seriousness of what Brenay was doing at this point in time. So, Brenay kind of settles in to Akira and Tim's house, claiming she's having marital problems with her husband, Tim's cousin. And so she wants to like confide in Tim a lot. And so, as she's in there and she's starting to ingratiate herself into the household, the vibe starts to change, right? And there's
Mhm.
like lingering looks between her and Tim. There's inside jokes and, TikTok comments and chemistry. And you see them like all, you know what I'm talking about, right? Like you can
Oh, yeah.
see it,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yes.
Boundary blurring moments. There's just a lot of boundaries being blurred. And Akira is starting to pick up on it. The wives always pick up on this shit.
Yeah, and that's the worst kind of betrayal, the under my roof kind, although she kinda invited it and yeah, anyway. Mhm,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but she invited her friend in, not trouble. She didn't know her friend was
True,
trouble. Let's be
true.
honest.
Okay,
Right?
yes, mhm.
Yeah. So they're all influencers, even Tim. And at one point, Tim becomes Brenay's manager. I know,
Jesus.
just another twist. I don't know what kind of expertise he has or what kind of expertise any of these people have, but they are really actually starting to unravel a bit right in the public eye as influencers, and they're everything starts to spiral, okay? Brenay starts posting like vague emotional stuff. I've been betrayed. This is my truth. You know what I'm talking about? Like these
Oh,
like
yeah.
these subtle bullshit things, the passive aggressiveness, trying to make people feel sorry for you, even though you don't it doesn't look like anything's really happening. And it's not like, you're pushing against abuse or anything. No, no, no. She's starting to make up a narrative in her mind, right?
Mhm.
People aren't who they seem. She's doing some live videos, she's doing story time teasers, and Akira, I gotta say, for the most part, is largely silent. I think it's important to tell everybody at this point, I'm definitely on Akira's side, and I can't help myself. Okay. So if you like Brenay, you're not going to love this, but I definitely am on Akira's side. I saw her as, you know, classy, right? Keeping her mouth shut, lifting her head up, when stuff was getting messy and gross. And, I also think that quietness on her part made everybody think that she was a pushover too, right?
Well, but see, silence, especially if you're an influencer or anything internet, it makes everybody nosy and everybody has an opinion.
Oh, it sure the hell does. Because the more quiet that Akira got, right, the louder the internet started to get. And
Mhm.
all of this stuff Brené's putting out there, people are starting to like choose sides, right? And that's probably why it was important that I tell everybody I've chosen a side. I think everybody does at some point, right? And now what we've got is we've got a full-on spectator sport now that's watching these people who are all now living in a house together just totally implode. And I'm going to take a moment here and say a couple of other things have happened here. At one point, Akira tells Brene to leave. And Brene says, Tim wants me here. Well, could you imagine, Kristen? Could you imagine as a woman, you have invited another woman into your home because you were her friend and trying to help protect her or whatever, and that bitch is coming after your man, and you tell her to get the hell out of your house, and she's like, your man wants me here. Could you
No.
imagine that? Could you even imagine that? Oh, that's what
No.
she did. Akira even had her grandmother come over and try to kick Brene out, and she wouldn't go. She wouldn't go. She would not go.
What?
Uh-huh. And this a lot of stuff escalate. At one point, Brene files a restraining order against Akira as like a preemptive thing. And Brene is definitely making a lot of drama out of small stuff, but Akira's like life is falling apart. She has children.
Right,
Brene
that
has been Brene has been the auntie. Okay. Brene is in a lot of videos with her children, like in the home, like cooking and playing and doing stuff and being the auntie, right? And
okay,
now
so
she's taken the husband.
what breaks the dam?
Oh,
What furthers this? Because we
yeah.
know. Oh, I need more information right now. Like, I'm Googling because I can't wait for you to keep talking.
Okay. Don't Google it. Let me walk you through it. All right. What breaks the dam? Akira and Brene and Tim all live in the state of North Carolina.
Okay.
And Akira walked into a courthouse and she sued Brene. And she sued Brene under a unique concept, which is not actually available in all states everywhere. In fact, I'm not even sure we have it available in Ohio. She sued Brene for alienation of affection, and that means interfering with your marriage,
Uh-huh.
right? And criminal conversation, which means basically it's weird. It's basically an adultery thing. It's having sex with a married person. It's really strange. But North Carolina has these laws that have kind of like held over from the olden days, and not all of us have this stuff. But these are real lawsuits that you can file in North Carolina. You may not be able to file them in your state. Your state might not have this law available, but North Carolina did. And
Okay, so it
so
was alienation of affection and what?
and criminal conversation. Are you
Okay.
Googling this while we're having this podcast?
I need to know if I could do this in Ohio.
It only exists in a handful of states. Yeah. Alienation of affection, it has been around for a really long time. It's
Right.
just not something that most people can actually use, right? In
Right.
Ohio, probably
No.
not. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you can't use criminal conversation lawsuits in Ohio.
Okay. Well, there you go. See, North Carolina, you can. And Akira actually found an amazing lawyer, and I'm going to talk about her in a little while. But this lawyer and her came up with this plan to file suit on these two causes. This is very regularly normal stuff. Okay, if you got a lawsuit, if you were sued, let me ask you something. What would be your first? What's the first thing you would do if you got sued?
Well, I would call a freaking lawyer.
There you go. That's literally what I was looking for. Congratulations.
I have
You
passed.
would have done the right thing, okay? I know I didn't mean to put you I didn't mean to put you on the line there. I didn't mean to put you on a test. You are correct. The first thing you should do when you get sued is call a lawyer. Did Brene call a lawyer?
Oh
She
my
did
god.
not, Kristen. She did not talk to a lawyer. Or maybe she did talk to one. She chose not to hire one. Okay.
Well, that's stupid.
Like, it's one thing to represent yourself in a dissolution. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Um,
Or even in bankruptcy,
Even in bankruptcy,
maybe, but that's sketchy.
I don't recommend it
No.
for the same reason I wouldn't recommend it here, but the problem is that listen, I barely know what to do in a courtroom. Lord knows you wouldn't know what to do in a courtroom,
Oh.
right? There are a lot of important things that happen. And of course, Brenay represented herself. She had no lawyer. She had no strategy. She had no understanding of the evidence. She had no understanding of the law. Nothing.
Jesus.
Okay. Now, Kristen, to go into a courtroom and defend yourself, she's the defendant. Okay. I need to make it very clear that Brenay is the defendant. It's it's like being accused of murder and then not hiring a lawyer. Who would do that? Nobody would do that, right? This is big
Mhm.
stuff. This is big important stuff. So
Yeah.
what happens usually when somebody sues you or you sue somebody is it's really an opening salvo. It's an opportunity to talk, okay? It's an opportunity to talk. And anytime a lawsuit is filed, usually the lawyer, I would hire a lawyer if I'm being sued. My lawyer would go talk to this lawyer and read all of the stuff. And then my lawyer would come back to me and say, "Hey, look, this is what you're looking at. Like this is real. This is what you're looking at. This is what we could do. This is what you should do." But you need that advice from the outside looking in because you have no idea what's going to happen here, where this is going. And the whole purpose of somebody suing you is usually to accomplish something, shut you up, show you, come up to some agreement. You be quiet, I'll be quiet, you be quiet, la la. La. Brenay bypassed all opportunity to make that happen by not having her own lawyer. She didn't understand any of the process and everything was a joke to her. Okay. So she's she's interrupting, right? She's arguing with the judge. She's trying to use TikTok comments as evidence in a trial. Okay.
Oh my
I
god.
can't even begin to explain to you how ridiculous that concept is. And you guys can just look to the whole, you know, national stuff when we're talking about politics. Every time a lawyer gets in trouble for defending Trump or something, they end up in trouble because in the courts, stuff matters. There's like a rules. You
Yeah.
can't do stupid stuff in courtrooms. Judges don't allow it. And I the whole time Akira had this bofo classy ass lawyer. And I just want to take a moment here and tell everybody that that lawyer's name was Robinetta Jones out of Raleigh, North Carolina. And I did a little bit of a deep dive on her, and she's amazing because she's young. She is one of the top 40 lawyers under black women lawyers under 40 in North
Wow.
Carolina. 40 under 40, it's a really big deal. And when I went through her information, like what she does a she looks to me like she was a general lawyer, like she would do a bankruptcy or she would do a divorce, and that is a tough way to make a living. But it really, lawyers who are good at doing a lot of different things or figuring out a lot of different things quickly,
Mhm.
they tend to be really good trial attorneys. And I have to assume that that Robinetta Jones had not been to trial very many times on something like this. Very few lawyers ever do. And
Right.
so she did an amazing. That's why I got into this story. It's because I was super impressed with the trial. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So we go to trial. At every opportunity, there were always opportunities for Brenay to settle or negotiate or find a path forward, find a way to make peace with Akira. That never happened at every turn. It was just more and more conflict. So the jury deliberates, and they're not gone for long. Okay. They come back. Are you ready for this? They come back with a judgment of $1.75 million.
$1.75 million?
1.75 million. And this is for a woman who stole another woman's man. And that happens every single day, right? But this time, the universe is saying, uh uh, uh uh. Akira Montague and Robinetta Jones are saying, "Not this time. Not this time, honey. Not this time." And I'm sure that that jury verdict was a total shock to Robinetta Jones, because I'm sure that when she took this case on, she was maybe looking at settling this for 50,000, 100,000. That would have been her goal in her mind. And that would have been my goal if I had taken
Right.
on this, right? Like, I would have been like, "Hey, this is an uphill battle, da da da." But at every turn, Brenay made it easy for Akira to keep moving forward.
Right.
Oh, Akira's lawyer, she was professional and totally unshakable. She had everything. You should have seen it. She had 700 pieces of evidence, and they
Oh
were
my god.
introduced correctly. They weren't just TikTok comments that were thrown over to the judge. And the judge is like, "No, that's not going to work, Brenay. That's not how this works, honey." Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, she had everything, and it was organized, and she walked the jury through this amazing experience, and the jury bought what she was selling, and that's an amazing thing. Yeah,
That
yeah,
is an amazing thing.
it is. It is. She had timelines, she had screenshots, she had messages, she had a coherent and airtight story. The jury didn't have to guess at anything. They followed all the facts, and Robinetta totally earned that verdict. Really, she did.
That's amazing.
Yeah, as Heather Gay would say, receipts, proof, a timeline, screenshots. That is from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Oh
so
my god.
I think that I'm super impressed with Robinetta Jones. So throughout this entire thing, while the trial's going on, we're seeing little clips of, Akira or of Brenay representing herself. And we also hear these like little things coming out of the trial. Everybody is watching this. There's 3 million followers Brenay has. Akira, I think, has 1 million followers. A lot of people are invested in this. And so after the trial is over, everyone starts to say that Brenay really was represented by a lawyer who was sitting in the audience wearing a hat and a mask.
The woman in the hat and mask?
Yeah, there's this fury of note-taking mystery woman who's in the audience of the trial every day. And TikTok is like, is this a secret lawyer? Is this a secret agent lawyer? Is this a courtroom plant? But honestly, I don't know who that lady was in there, but here's what I can tell everybody who's listening. Um, a lawyer does you no good when they are sitting in the audience. And if Brenay had a lawyer who was sitting in the audience, it was not a smart move on her part. That was not helpful. That's not where lawyers help. Okay. Most
Right.
likely, Brenay hired a lawyer. We do know Brenay did hire a lawyer after the verdict. Okay. So I'll get to that in just a second. I don't know if it's the one in the audience or not, but
Right.
because a lawyer in the audience is just totally legally useless. So for all of you out there who thinks that that was like some, secret spy move on her part, it's not. That's not what that was. Whoever was in the audience might have been a reporter. They might be a lawyer who wanted to offer their services to Brenay when it was all over, saying like, "Hey, you're going to need a lawyer now for your appeal." Maybe.
Right.
Now, what happens after the jury verdict, 1.75 million, is Brenay has to either appeal or pay it. Just appeal or pay. Appeal or pay. So within like a week of the jury verdict, Brenay filed a notice of appeal. That's not an appeal. A notice of
Mhm.
appeal says, "I intend to file an appeal." And apparently she hired a lawyer to go over the case for the purpose of appealing. What everybody needs to know is that in North Carolina, if you're going to appeal a jury verdict that awards you $1.75 million, you have to offer up a bond so that the court knows that you've got the money sitting there. If you want to appeal, that's fine, but you got to set the money aside, right? So she would have had to have offered a bond. As far as I know, she has not offered up a bond, number one. Number two, she's only filed a notice of appeal.
But so the new lawyer can't fix the disaster.
Correct. The new lawyer cannot fix the disaster that's already happened. The only thing a new lawyer could do is to help Brenay file an appeal. And here's the interesting part, though. In order to file an appeal, You need something called an appealable issue. Where do
Right.
you get your appealable issues? You get them at the trial level. So, what Brenay doesn't understand, what a lot of people don't realize, is that while you're conducting a trial, you are, as a lawyer, we are also preparing for an appeal. So, for example, if you have a problem with this piece of evidence being entered in, okay, you have to object to it.
Right.
Because if you don't object to it, then you can't say on appeal, they shouldn't have let that in because you
Right.
had an obligation. So, preparing a trial record for an appeal requires work at the time. So it's very clear that Brenay does not have she does not have a cohesive plan forward. Just filing that notice, just the notice of an appeal.
Right.
Sorry. Just filing the notice of appeal, people thought that she was safe. Everybody on the internet, everybody on TikTok's like, she's safe. She filed an appeal. She hired that lawyer. I said, no, she's not safe yet, honey. She ain't safe. Has she placed a bond? No, she has not placed the bond yet. So
So
only the
unless
bond. Go ahead.
so unless she posts that 1.7 million, she's not safe.
She's not safe. And just to be clear, I don't know how it works in North Carolina. Some courts make you put up a bond of a certain amount, like maybe 10%, 50%,
Right.
100%, or you have to show that you have assets up to a certain amount, right? So I don't exactly know what that would look like there, but I do know that she hasn't offered up any bond, at least as of the time of recording this, right? So what does that mean? That means that she's collectible immediately. What does collectible mean? Collectible means all of the same things that every single one of my bankruptcy clients has ever experienced in the history of the world.
Oh God.
Collection is when a creditor comes after you for money you owe them. Okay. So if you don't pay your credit card, they sue you. They get a judgment against you, just like Akira sued Brenay, got a judgment against her. And with that judgment, right, they can, in North Carolina, Akira can freeze Brenay's bank accounts. She can seize her assets. She can place liens on real estate. She can force sales of things, and she can compel a sheriff to go into Brenay's house and come and bring stuff out.
And
That's
this
how
is
collections work in North Carolina. It's not how they work in Ohio. In Ohio, we're going to garnish wages, we're going to garnish bank accounts, we're going to put a lien on your real estate. But in North Carolina, you can't garnish wages, so they do it a little bit differently. And this is
and
what
this
they
is
do.
all and this is even though she appealed, this is all still doable.
It's all still doable. And in fact, because she did not post a bond, the attorney Robinetta Jones I believe it was last week, last Friday, filed a motion with the court asking for a writ of execution. A writ of execution is what you give to the court to say, go get my money for me that
Oh.
lowlife owes me. A writ of execution is what your credit card company gives to the sheriff's office if you didn't pay them and now you owe them and they've sued you. That's what this is. It's as if you owe these things, right? Just like my clients. However,
Uh-huh.
there's a very big distinction between my clients like you and my day-to-day clients and Brenay. Because when Brenay came out of the courthouse that day after the jury verdict, the first thing she did is she walked straight up to a camera and said, I ain't never paying that. She ain't never gonna see a dime. That was the moment after the verdict. Okay. And so a lot of
Jeez.
people who chose sides, a lot of people who chose Brenay's side, they say are like the side hustles,
Uh-huh.
right? And it's always the wives who are on Akira's side. So I don't know. Maybe I can be on both sides at sometimes, but right now I'm on Akira's side. But everybody who was on Brenay's side right after the verdict, when they saw her very saucy, I ain't paying anything. She ain't never gonna get a dime from me. All of her fans are like, yeah, that's right. Brenay Energy, she ain't ever paying. And then word started to spread that she was gonna file for bankruptcy. And that's when I kind of stepped in and I said,
Right.
let's take it all down a notch. because there have been a few other cases that are very, very similar to Brenay and Akira that people might not have made the connection in their brains with. The
Right, and you went
first
well, you went viral when you did this. You went
Yeah,
viral for saying this.
yes, I went viral for pointing out that Brenay is not going to have the option of discharging $1.75 million that she owes to Akira in a bankruptcy. She will not be able to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy and get rid of this debt, even if she qualifies under the income limit.
Right.
And the reason is because she can't file a 7, right? She can't file a 13 because the kind of debt that she owes to Akira does not go away in bankruptcy. You cannot get rid of the consequences of purposeful, malicious acts. And that's exactly what alienation of affection and criminal conversation are, right? There's an actual code section in the bankruptcy code. So this is very similar to if anybody is familiar with Cardi B and Tasha K, this was a big one. Tasha K was sued by Cardi B for defamation. Okay. Cardi B got over a $3 million judgment against Tasha K. And she was in
Holy
the
crap.
exact same situation that Brenay is in now. And she lost her appeal. She filed an appeal and lost it. Tasha K could not file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. She couldn't file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and she couldn't file a 13. She could not file a Chapter 13 because the debt's too big. Tasha K filed something called a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. I'll get back to that in a second. It's the same thing that Rudy Giuliani had to do and Alex Jones had to do. These are very clear, popular cases that have been been around the last couple of years. Rudy Giuliani was sued by by the women in Georgia who alleged that he ruined their lives and all that kind of stuff. They were elections officials, and they sued. So the jury verdict's over $100 million. You can't get rid of that in bankruptcy. So why would Alex Jones, when he owed the Sandy Hook families hundreds of millions of dollars, why did Rudy Giuliani file 11? Why did Tasha K file a Chapter 11 bankruptcy? None of them are filing to get rid of the debt. They
Nope.
all know they can't. The only reason to file a Chapter 11 bankruptcy is to try to get the parties to the table to come up with an agreement. Rudy Giuliani was the jury verdict in his case was also malicious, purposeful, right? Alex Jones is malicious and purposeful. Tasha K, malicious, and that is how we get to the place where this debt will not go away. Brenay does not have any. She honestly doesn't really have any options except to get Akira to the table to talk, either outside of a bankruptcy situation or do it inside a bankruptcy situation. So that's why I believe that ultimately, Brenay is going to file a Chapter 11. I think she's going to do it quickly if she can't. I mean, this is moving along so fast. They start collections soon. I've never really seen it happen quite this fast, to be honest with. But it's happening so fast that it's amazing. I'm loving this
So,
stuff.
I mean, Brenay can't escape this just like those other 3 big cases can't. That's freaking nuts.
Yeah, and I think that, ultimately, you should have seen all the bravado on the internet. Like, all these people are like, "Brenay ain't ever gonna pay. She ain't never gonna pay. Akira can just do it. She ain't ever gonna pay." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" I pull out my phone, I put on my little tiki-taki, I'm like, "Ooh, I got something to tell you guys." And everybody just the internet went bananas. I would like to say, being team Akira, I made a lot of new friends on the internet from this little dive down. I've actually now TikTok friends with the attorney, Robinetta Jones. Again,
Nice.
super impressed. Maybe someday I'll get to meet her. But I've met a lot of really nice people, and this has been a really fun little rabbit hole to go down. But it's also a reminder, like, don't be a bitch. Okay,
Right.
don't steal other people's. Let their marriages fall apart naturally, and then you go do what you're going to do. But you don't need, and nobody needs any help here. Okay. You're not a girl's girl. You ain't a friend. We need to be girls at this point. I've been watching a lot of people. Speaking of which, Below Deck on Bravo,
Mhm.
I gotta tell you, Kizzy is not a good girl's girl. Total side note.
I st I still
Total
need to
side
watch
note.
that too.
Yeah. For
I
those of you
I
out
still
there who are my Bravo fans, you know what I'm talking about. Kizzy is not a girl's girl. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know how this entire thing escaped my For You page. I don't know how,
Right?
because this is pretty wild. This is some
Right?
wild stuff.
Right. Well, nobody's escaping anything here. I do think Brenay's going to end up filing for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. She won't be able to get rid of this. She can't get of
Chapter
any,
11.
get, yeah, what I said, yeah, I meant Chapter 11.
7.
She's definitely not filing a Chapter 7. The reason she can't file a Chapter 7 is it does nothing for her. It doesn't bring the
Mhm.
parties to the table. It's just you file it and they'll be like, nope, this debt's not going away. Boom, it's over. It's the Chapter 11 that because the largest creditor is Akira. So Akira gets to decide what the Chapter 11 looks like as the largest creditor. And the whole purpose, if Akira has to go into a Chapter 11, I don't know, maybe Akira's going to be able to collect against her. Maybe she's just going to be able to take her house and her cars and stuff. I mean, Brenay has been very vocal about making lots of do re mi. I don't know.
I have to say, in all of this, I am team Akira because she was smart.
Yes, yes, thank you, thank you. I think now that you say that out loud, I mean, I think that's what I was drawn to the whole time. But I just who approaches a lawsuit like this, with big boobies flopping all around? I mean, like, her big thing was, like, she had she's very she's a unique person. She's got a lot of energy. I gotta say, Brenay has a lot of she has a lot of giddy up, all right? But she was not ever able to tighten up. You see that she lives her entire life as a joke. And I'm sure it might have been fun for a little while to be her friend until, she
Mhm.
steals your man and then makes a mockery out of the legal system and then tells the entire world, that she's never gonna pay you when a jury says that you are gonna pay her. So, yeah,
Mhm.
that's that was the delightful little trip. So, I keep kind of popping in to see what's going on. That writ of execution was issued, no bond has been placed, so I will give everybody an update when, as things unfold in the next steps here. But yeah, I also want to say that in the Rudy Giuliani and Alex Jones cases, it didn't work. They tried to file
Mhm.
11 to try to get their creditors to come up with an agreement. And in both of those cases, they were like, yeah, no, it's a
Mhm.
no. We're just going to take
Mhm.
everything you have for the rest of your lives. We don't want
Mhm.
any part of this. We don't want to wait. We don't want, it's a no for us. And so
Right.
both Rudy Giuliani and Alex Jones's bankruptcies have been dismissed because they were not able to come up with agreement. They still owe all the money, the millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. And I know that Rudy Giuliani, they were starting to take his assets about 6 months ago.
Yeah. I know they took his Rolex, and they
Yeah.
took, like, one of his properties that I knew of. Okay,
Mm.
so wait, I need to know a couple things just
Okay.
because I think if
Okay.
people aren't aware of this situation, they're gonna wanna know too. Is Brene still with Tim?
Okay, so during the trial, Brenay alleges so Akira and Tim get divorced through this process.
Okay.
Through this process, Brenay claims to be married. Brenay says she married Tim and legally changed her name. So throughout the trial, I guess she was like insisting that the judge call her Mrs. Montague. Brenay. Call her Mrs. Montague. And it became a big thing on the internet because when I first did my video, I was like, Brenay Kennard and Akira Montague. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe you're going there. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then I guess Brenay demands to be called Brenay Montague, and the internet went down a sleuthing like hole to figure out if she actually did change her name, if it was filed or anything. And so the Brenay fans are like, her name's Montague. I'd be like, Brenay Kennard.
So did she actually
Just
marry
because I'm
him?
saucy, but
Well,
apparently
yeah.
Brené's got a big thing about, wanting to be called Mrs. Montague now. Look, the if you do a deep dive, you're gonna see that the allegation here is that Brené just kinda, like, became Akira to try to steal him. Like, she was dressing like her, like, it's just sickening, and all along, I'm thinking, "Man, Akira, girl, I mean, you know exactly who she got $1.75 million and she got rid of her loser ex, who will clearly roll around with anything she brings into the house. So I am so
Yeah.
team Akira at this point. So team
Yeah.
Akira. Good for
Yeah.
you,
No,
girl. Good for you.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm team Akira on this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
100%.
I
100%.
don't know how we couldn't be that. So, what are the lessons that we've learned?
Well, don't betray your friend who takes you in.
Don't represent yourself in a jury trial.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Don't don't turn your worst choices into content. Ooh, baby.
We probably both need to hear that every now and then. If you're a naughty individual, bankruptcy ain't gonna save you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
purposeful and
And
willful, yeah,
yeah. And don't move your friend don't move into your friend's house under the guise of safety if you're just going to sleep with her husband.
yeah. And remember,
Jesus.
the internet is undefeated. Oh, this
Absolutely.
one was so much fun. I was so fascinated with that story. I keep going back to see if there's any updates or anything. It's been a delightful ride. Thank you everybody
Yes.
who's been helping me along this journey. And Robinetta Jones, and Akira Montague, Akira, whatever name you want to go by now, honey, we got your back. Super proud of you. And,
Yeah.
I hope that this is a stand for other women everywhere who are tired of people sliding in and trying to take our men. Okay, go find your own. I've already trained mine. I'm keeping them.
I thought I had mine trained. Turns out I was wrong.
Well, see, you know what? At least, too bad nobody gave you 1.75 million on the way out the door.
Yeah, no shit. Jeez
Uh, that's
Louise.
why, I
That'd have
mean,
been
come on.
nice.
Go Akira. Go Akira. Good for her.
100%.
It can take a
Absolutely.
really long time to get that money. I mean, you can't take
Oh, yeah.
somebody asked me, one lady asked me in my content, she said, "Can you be sued for more than you're worth?" And I
Oh,
said,
yeah.
"Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you can."
Oh,
It
yeah.
just means that you're, for really the rest of your life, it's like OJ Simpson. It's like OJ
Mhm,
Simpson. Remember, Ron Goldman's family sued O.J. Simpson civilly and got a civil
mhm,
judgment against him. And that is
mhm,
why he couldn't write a book. He couldn't do any of
mhm,
those things because he couldn't receive he didn't write a book because he didn't want that family to get it. And when OJ died, they just recently, and it all was happening at the same time, they were issuing the writ of execution against his estate.
mhm,
And it doesn't
mhm.
go away even when you die. Sorry,
Yep.
Brenay, you're still gonna owe the money even if you're dead. My friend, you better find a way to start paying it. You better start finding a way to be humble, my friend, because they're coming after it. It ain't for you don't get to be a bitch for free in this country, apparently. Not in North
Yeah.
Carolina. Not if your lawyer's Robinetta Jones. No, you do not. Mm-mm.
Better up that content game, my dear.
That's right. That's
Ooh,
right.
baby.
How was that story? Did you like that?
That was good. I like that one. I like going in blind, and, I really should have made some popcorn for that one because that
Yeah.
that was that was a
That would
roller
have been a good
coaster.
popcorn one. I love it when
Mhm.
I can tell you a story about stuff you don't know anything about, because that's when it's the
Yeah.
most fun, even though the audience doesn't hear you yap very much. I get to walk you through the story. Do you know what a jury has to hear in order to give a woman 1.75 million for someone else stealing her husband? I mean, you gotta be pissed off at the defendant. You have to think they're pretty egregious, that what they've done is
Well, and
pretty malicious, pretty malicious.
and I don't you're the lawyer here. I don't know the legal terms for this, but I know that there's, like, caps on what a jury can say. This is this is the most we're allowed to say, and they can keep it under that number or hit that cap of what they can award a person.
Mhm.
So, obviously, it was bad enough that they took it to the top, man.
Yeah, I don't know what those
Yes.
caps are in North Carolina, but listen, as a lawyer, you know something doesn't sound right. If I had heard a Kira story, I'd been like, "Man, that sucks, girl, but you shouldn't have let that girl in your house." Like, in
Right.
Ohio, you're screwed. I'm sorry. Go to divorce
Mhm.
court, start your new life. But in North Carolina, her lawyer was like, "You know what? There's these laws and nobody hardly ever uses them. And this kind of, this might be the right case to take there." I love that. Brilliant. I love it. So there you go.
Absolutely brilliant.
I do predict that Brenay Kennard will be filing a Chapter 11 bankruptcy soon. That is my prediction. I might be right. I might be wrong. We'll see. Now,
I think you're pretty right.
I think that's where it's going. As we wrap this up, I just want to say, as we're on our way out the door here, that today was a very big day for you. We had to move all of
Mhm.
all of our recordings. Why don't you announce it?
I'm officially divorced. Shocking turn of events this morning. We had our initial hearing because we did a dissolution of marriage, and those are quicker than divorces. You have to
Yes.
go in amicably agreeing, not doesn't have to be amicably, but you agree to everything. And usually it's a hearing to go over the paperwork, and then you go in front of a judge.
Yeah.
And we went in and nothing had changed. None of the agreements had changed. We were still on the same page. And the magistrate was like, "Hey, uh, if you want, we could just skip the judge on in January, and we can just finalize this right now." And I was like, "Okay." And my now ex-husband was like, "Okay." And it took 10 minutes.
Congratulations. It's
Thank you.
congratulations and I'm sorry because this is a great day and also a terrible day. And I get it. My husband said that the day he got divorced was the most difficult day of his life ever.
Mhm.
And he didn't even have any
Wait,
children with her. Yeah,
hold
my
on.
husband was married before me. Mhm.
I didn't
He
know that.
Yeah, well, he's a lot older than me, so, it's
Wait,
reasonable to
mm,
expect that. But he had no children, and he was divorced for
right.
almost 8 years when I met him, so
Well, yeah, but
it's
I
n
didn't know that. But anyway,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, he was
my
married and but even though she was long before I ever came along, no kids, he would still tell you up until recently, he would tell you that that was the worst day of his
right,
life, even though it was the right thing, even though he's much happier. It's not because he didn't want it, but because he acknowledged, you know, and I know that you kind of have some of that. And I just want
right.
you to know that it's okay to be happy and grateful and sad and grieving. All of those things are going to happen, but I want the audience to hear that you took it upon yourself to work with your ex. You agreed on everything. You went and got the
Mhm.
paperwork from the courthouse. You didn't even need a lawyer. I don't do domestic work, so I wasn't helping her. I can assure you I wasn't helping her. I've done one
I
disillusion in the history of my life, and my paralegal did all the work for me. But I'm really, really proud of you. You did everything the way and you left this morning and I was like, "Girl, nothing's gonna happen today." You were all nervous. I'm like,
right.
"Girl, nothing's gonna happen. Everything happens slowly at the
Mhm,
courts. You're gonna have another hearing and
mhm.
January's into this and this." And you came back and you're like, "We're divorced." I'm like, "You too can go through a dissolution without a lawyer, without fighting and arguing. You can get it done simply because I'm pretty sure that we announced here that you told me that your husband had asked for a separation the last week in August, right?
Yeah, it
And
was it was the last week of August, yeah.
last week of August, and this is the first week in December. You're literally divorced, and that I hope everyone understands that if you don't make a fight out of it, it can be easier. Swimming with the stream a lot of times gets you things easier. So
Yeah,
stop fighting. There's
and
no purpose in it.
yeah, I mean, I understand that there are times where fighting I know there are people that there's no way they're not gonna fight. There's no way
Yeah,
they're not gonna make it
yeah,
difficult, and I'm one of the very lucky ones that we were able to just say, "Okay, we know this isn't working. We know this hasn't been what needs to be done. We need to
yeah,
just end this now." And,
yeah.
I text you this morning panicking about paperwork, and you were like, "Listen, if you screw this up, I will help you
Yeah.
unscrew it."
Yeah.
And I had my partner, like, he's been divorced before, and he's like, "I know this is a really hard day." I had you 2 in my corner calming me down, and I
Mhm.
still burst into tears after it was over because it
I
was
would
like that grief, but not grief, but I don't know.
it is
It's just
grief.
this it is, but it also was relief.
It's
It's
grief and
over.
relief. It's all those things, and you're allowed to feel
It
all those
is.
things. And
Yeah. So,
everybody who goes through this is gonna feel all those things, and they're gonna,
yeah,
it's not,
it's gonna hit it really
cyclical.
weird
It's
times.
not linear. It's not
Mm-mm.
linear, right?
It's it'll hit at really weird times, like when the magistrate was like, "Would you say that you and your husband are not compatible?" And I was like, "Yes," and then immediately had to bite my cheek because
Mm.
I almost started crying.
Yeah.
And so,
Well,
I mean, it hits at weird times, but it's over, and I'm ending the year, not married, and it's weird,
mhm.
but exciting,
Well, I'm
and I'm
very
happy.
supportive of you look happy. You've uh how many pounds have you lost?
45 as of this morning.
You look amazing. You look
Thank
amazing.
you.
You look
Thank you.
amazing. I have lost 16 pounds, and I'm
Freaking
actually very
awesome.
grateful that nobody has noticed. It means nobody noticed that I put 20 on. But I personally feel great. I am doing, I'm doing the more I just had put on a little bit of weight over the summer because I stopped running, and kind of getting that back into place. And I am extremely grateful that you introduced me to Amble. And I think you're looking good, and it's a good time to be looking good. It can help you feel better when you're looking good, right?
Yeah. Mhm,
And
mhm.
I'm happy for both you and you.
But there it is.
All right,
That's
there
it.
it is. All right. Well, what do you think? I don't know what next week looks like for us. What are we going to talk about next week?
I don't
Well,
know. We hadn't gotten past this.
Well,
What are we gonna do?
we have a couple of topics, but we're just gonna have to like put them in a hat and pull one out and see what we got for the rest of this year. We're gonna take a break
Absolutely.
after Christmas for a couple of
Yeah.
weeks before we start season 3. But we got to end
Season
season
3.
2. I know we're gonna be into season
Season
3. Girl, look at
freaking
that.
nuts, man.
I we've
For
come a
the
long way.
for the for the 2 women who were like, we'll see what happens. Maybe we
Let's
won't
try
get
and
past
start
the
a
first few
podcast.
episodes."
Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't.
I
It feels like
and I
every week I'm not sure if we're going to keep doing it. I don't know if it's
I
going to
know.
happen or not. And it does.
I have people say, "Hey, I listened to your podcast the other day." And I'm like, "What?" But, like, people at the grocery store. I got recognized for the first time, by the way. I got recognized at the grocery store for the first time
Not for the
last week.
podcast though, from your TikToks.
But they were like, "I listened to your podcast the other day. It was phenomenal." I'm like, "This is the trifecta, man." I forgot to tell you about
I
that.
really
I totally
honestly
forgot.
thought this was just you and I chit-chatting, and then we put it out in the universe and nobody listens to it. That's pretty much what I've always
No.
assumed this is.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, we know because of the people that send my ex-husband the podcast every week when I mention it. All right.
um,
So next week is a surprise to everybody, including us. But
yeah.
we're gonna make it fun.
We will. I
All
want to
right.
know
Sounds good.
all about what it feels like to be your very first week as a single lady.
I'm not very single though.
I know, but I gotta. But you're not married.
There ain't
You're
no
not
ring
married.
on it. There ain't no ring on it.
Listen, you don't need a ring yet, okay, girl. You just walked out of a courthouse where you gave one ring up. All right, you be patient. Let's make sure you got all your needs. And let's make sure that this is the era. This needs to be the Kristen era. 2026 needs to be Kristen era.
Don't worry. We've got this.
Okay,
It's
we do.
gonna be amazing.
Okay. All right.
All
I
right.
trust
Until
you.
next time.
Until next time, my
Yeah, I
friend.
don't know if that's a good idea. All right. Bye.
Thanks for hanging out with us today on High Heels and Hay Bales. If you laughed, learned something, or just had a good time, hit that follow button wherever you listen.
Want more? Head over to highheelsandhaybales.com to catch past episodes, send us a message, or drop your topic ideas.
And of course, we're on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Come say hi, share your stories, and join the conversation.
Until next time, stay grounded, stay laughing, and stay out of trouble. Well, mostly.
See you next week.